Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. In today's episode, we're entering the world of social skills, and we're going to be talking about how to take risks in conversations. One of the things that I've noticed throughout my life in regards to dealing with other people is that highly charismatic people, those people that are remembered, often create an atmosphere in a conversation where things are unpredictable. It's very difficult to fully see which path that they're going to take. And there's this high level of uncertainty when talking to them. Not the uncertainty that's going to make you uncomfortable. Instead, the type of uncertainty that is going to make you sit on the edge of your seats. That's the kind of uncertainty that these charismatic people have. And I've always wondered, what makes you guys think like this? And each time I ask these charismatic people how they're so okay with being okay with uncertainty, they always give me a very unsatisfying response. They're like, Armani, it's because I really don't care. I don't care if I offend people or not. I mean, I really, really, really don't care. See, the thing is, a lot of people act like they don't care, but deep inside, they care. And that's how their subconscious mind absorbs the narrative, and that's how they move. That's why they ask such predictable questions and have such predictable conversations. But for me, I just don't care. The reason that I wasn't satisfied with a response like this was because it felt as though that these were naturals. You know, I never liked learning from naturals. The people who always had something figured out, it just came easy to them. Often they're some of the worst teachers because they don't understand the struggles of being shy, of having social anxiety, of trying to not care, but still caring. They don't know how to empathize with these groups of people. Anyways, though, I still learn from them. Now, I would say I was 16 years old where I was very shy, and I could learn from any of these charismatic people that I could learn from. As more years started to go on by, I eventually joined a Toastmasters Club, where I was shocked to learn that some of the most profound speakers were initially shy when they were entering the club meeting. I was like, no way, Sam, you used to be shy? I mean, you're so well spoken. Whenever you're talking, words just flow out of you. And whenever words flow out of you, it's so unpredictable. You used to be shy? He's like, yes. And this was a guy that I could learn from, because this guy also said, Armani, it's because I really don't care what other people think of me. And then he followed it up with, the reason I don't care that much anymore is because I put in my reps. I was like, wait a minute, you put in your reps? What does that mean? And he's like, well, think about it like this, Armani. Imagine that you're given a whole bunch of grapes, right? And you're taking one grape and eating it. You're like, wow, so sweet and tangy. You eat another one. Ooh, this one tastes just as good. And you're eating more and more grapes. And from these abundant amount of grapes, one of them falls into the ground. Are you going to be panicking? Are you going to be crying? Are you going to jump onto the floor and pick it up and stick it in your mouth? Of course not. It's because you have so many grapes. Now flip that. Imagine that you haven't eaten in days, and instead of having a lot of grapes, you only have 3 grapes right now. Now imagine that one of those grapes fall onto the ground. Are you going to be panicking right now? Chances are, yes. The reason why you're going to be panicking is because you already don't have that many grapes. And what he was trying to drive into me was the analogy. He's like, the reason that I have a lot of grapes right now is because I put in my reps. And in his context, the reps included him giving a lot of speeches. He was in Toastmasters for, I would say, 7 years plus. And he put in so many reps that he really didn't care. But this context can also be applied to social skills. A person who's only having one conversation, let's say a week, This guy is not going to take any risks in the conversation because they're fearful. They're like that person who is holding onto the 3 grapes and they're desperately trying to make sure that one of them don't fall onto the ground. And this is when the world of social skills merges with the world of athletics. Famous coaches often tell their players, listen, you need to quit playing not to lose and you need to play to win. And this is the exact mindset that this public speaker was trying to teach me. He's like, when you don't put in your reps, what happens is that you're playing not to lose. You're asking a lot of these safe questions in order to preserve this interaction. All for what? You're still not making an impact. This other person that you're trying to be safe with is going to forget you. So put in your reps. Try to converse with anyone that you can possibly converse with. When someone calls you, pick it up and be like, oh, what's up, telemarketer? Yeah, I mean, of course I'm interested in your service, and put in your reps there. That is one added grape into the abundance mindset. Oh, you just hopped into an Uber? Hey, Uber driver, how long you been driving Uber for? Boom, another grape that has been added into the abundance mindset. Even through text, having conversations there is adding another grape into the abundance mindset. Little by little, when there are plenty of grapes, that's when there's that level of competency that is unlocked within. And through that level of competency, what happens is that risk-taking is just a byproduct. Naturally, this conversationalist nowadays asks questions that others can't necessarily predict. Whatever is coming out of their mouth, others are like, I wasn't expecting that. Well, what a pleasant surprise. And every now and then, something that comes out of their mouth may offend the other person, and that's equivalent to them having a bunch of grapes and just dropping one. They no longer sweat it. You'll be surprised by how much creative faculties open when you're not sweating just losing one grape, otherwise known as one interaction. So I believe one of the best proven tested ways in order to take risks in conversations is through the good old practice method. And in order to practice, be sure to strike up conversations with whoever, whenever possible. And by the way, since you made it this far, there's another little cheat code that can complement the path that you are already taking. And this is through the art of writing. Did you know that thinking and writing are pretty much the same exact thing, just in different forms? Well, if you learn how to write effectively, then you learn how to think effectively. If you learn how to think effectively, then you learn how to speak effectively. I've recently released a creative writing journal called The Idea Machine, which has 333 creative writing prompts for adults. There's a lot of creative writing journals on the market for little kids, but very few for adults. This journal includes a lot of prompts ranging from metaphysics, self-improvement, philosophy, politics, and much more. You are given the prompt, and then you are told to write 1 page on the material, flexing your creative thinking faculties. The more that you keep flexing your creative thinking faculties by writing just 1 entry a day, over time, what happens is you start to collect a whole bunch of grapes. You start to think differently. And from thinking differently, nowadays, you're entering these different interactions and effortless communication is happening. It feels much easier to communicate about anything under the sun because you've already practiced beforehand. The Idea Machine is currently available on Amazon, and I'm going to drop the link for the book in the description box and the pinned comment right on below, or you can go to armanitalks.com or Amazon. Check out the Idea Machine, level up your creative thinking skills, and take more risks in conversations. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I will catch you next time.